Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Dogs on Skates. That is Andy. I am J Dog, and it was quite a week for the Canucks this week. Played 2 games. Played Dallas. Played Montreal. We are recording as of Wednesday, March 12th. The game against Calgary is tonight. But yeah, following off a game against Montreal last night, in which the Canucks lost once again. What are your thoughts, Andy?
Lost, yes, but at least made some attempt at a comeback,
It's
which was
true.
nice to see. They didn't just roll over and die. Um, yeah, so it's kind of kind of inverted from how the team has been all year, right? Where they can score in the first and second, but then fall flat on their face in the third.
Yeah.
Well, now we know they can score in the third. We just need it a little earlier as well. So it's that darn 60-minute effort we keep hearing about, right?
hmm Yeah, I've really felt like, honestly, for the last few weeks, that the effort's been there. Like the guys have been trying. I've honestly seen the buy-in to Talkett's system, the things that Talkett's been talking about in post-game and pre-game news scrums, and it just seems like the skill is not high enough to compete against really any level of competition. Not like it's interesting because they're playing okay against teams like the Stars, good teams, but like not quite there. And then they play teams like the Habs, which they should at least be at the Habs level. And again, they're close, but still not quite there. And it's again not really an effort thing that I'm noticing. It's more just a skill level. Yeah, what have you been seeing?
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. And I'm not an expert in the new advanced stats, but I follow a number of people who are on Twitter. And what I saw was in terms of like expected goals for and against, Vancouver for the last stretch, probably since Christmas or so, has been about a middle of the pack kind of team. But their PDO, which is a rough approximation for their luck, is in the toilet, which is the exact opposite to where it was last year when
Exactly.
everything was going in. You'd flung the puck on net, it was going in, and guys were having incredible years. It's gone the other way now. And the idea is that over time that'll revert to a mean and it'll kind of balance things out. But they're not lucky at all right
Yeah.
now. They are straight up unlucky. And I think that speaks to that the effort is there. They
Yeah.
should be a middle of the pack team, but they're not getting the result.
Yep. Totally agree. And following Dallas's lost, I believe they lost 4-1. But they were in that game. Like there was 1-1 with like 30 seconds left in the second period. They let in a late one in the second, and then just battled hard in the third to try and tie it up, but no luck. But following that game, Brock Besser, Jake DeBrusk, EP40, all of their minutes were down, especially Jake and Brock. I think they were both around between 13 and 16 minutes. That's tough. Like those are the guys you need scoring. You just held on Brock through the deadline, and now he's playing like third line minutes. Like
Third,
that's
borderline fourth.
that's not okay. So it was interesting that following that game, Tuckett was asked about it. So we have that here for you.
Chances that you generated and ultimately what makes the difference between generating those chances and finishing them.
Yeah, I thought there was a couple of rebounds there. I think I wish we were a little bit more hungrier to get inside position. I think there could have been a tap in here. We got to get a little more hungrier as the second guy coming in. I thought we were a little bit on the outside of that.
In a game where you were trailing for a good portion of it, DeBrusk, leading goal scorer, plays under 13 minutes. Pedersen, 16 minutes. Besser, under 16 minutes. Do you think that was that a reflection of how they were playing?
You got to earn your ice time.
Got to earn.
Yeah, you got to earn your ice time around here. That's how you win. So you guys can stir it up all you want. You have to earn your ice time. I don't care how long you've been here. You got to earn your ice time. That's the way it works. That's how you win Stanley Cups. So
You have to earn your ice time. Like he cut off the reporter and was like, you have to earn your ice time. That's how you win around here. And he went into you guys can make stuff like basically you guys can say whatever you want about it. I know the media is going to have maybe a bit of a heyday with this of the star players again not getting the minutes, but that doesn't matter. If you want to be a winner, you have to earn your ice time. So very clear message sending, in my opinion. What do you think?
And he was emphatic about it. Like, I've watched enough true crime and detective type shows. They talk to you about body language and, hand movements and that sort of thing. And he was tapping the table like that to emphasize those points. You have to earn your ice time around here. That's how you win a Stanley Cup. You earn it. And I think that's a pretty direct shot at those guys and how they're not doing that. And that's coming on the back of a couple of games where EP40 has at least been more noticeable than he's been in a long time. But it's sending the message again that that's still not good enough. That is not what we
Exactly.
expect. Great, you got a couple goals, good for you. We're not happy, and you shouldn't be either.
Derek Forbert also scored.
He did. Derek Forbert. I love this story so much. I was late watching the game, and J Dog sends me a message. It was a rather cryptic one about a kid and choosing Derek Forbert as his favorite player, and I'm like, that's weird. Wonder what that has to do with anything. And then I watched the game.
So I don't know if you know this, but that choice by the minor hockey league player that was interviewed, that happened before Forbert scored.
Yeah, the kid knew.
Yeah.
The kid knew.
Derek was asked after the game, and you can tell he was angry that they lost against Dallas. Like, that was not sitting well with
Oh,
him. And so they asked him, like, hey, so a kid in the intermission, like, said that you were his favorite player, and then you went and scored. Like, how do you feel about that? And he's like, the kid's got to get a higher scoring favorite player. Did it with just like the biggest scowl on his face. Oh man, it was good.
that's got to be such a fun moment for a player like Forbert, hey? Who's,
Totally, you'd think so.
he's not a lot of kids' favorite player, but
Totally.
then to hear that somebody actually said that, and then you happen to go out and score, I think that's pretty
I
cool.
imagine he really appreciated it. Like, after the game's over, after it settles, and he's on the plane eating his dinner, he's probably thinking about that after, being like, "Oh, that was pretty neat." But in the moment, he was just angry that they lost.
Which is fair.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
then Forbert comes out and almost scores again last night
Oh, I
versus
know.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Have to
Um,
get that kid on more Canucks games, maybe. I don't know.
I thought the Canucks, though, overall, like, they played decent, just lacking skill, lacking the game breakers. Like, Montreal's first line tore the Canucks apart in the first period. They had 3 goals in the first period, just the first line alone. Like, Nick Suzuki looked like he was Sidney Crosby out there.
And that's
Um,
not a top flight first line.
no, no, this is a
Like,
team that
it's
I'm not even sure if they're in the playoff spot. They're right around the bubble. Every day it's moving around. So, yeah. But it's pretty clear, like, we're lacking the superstar talent that we've had in past years. The Pedersen, Miller, Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko stack. We're like, oh man, we have depth and we have high end talent. The high end talent is, I think, really where we're lacking right now. And I do like some of the matchups and pairings that Tocchet has put together. He's put Philip Hedel and Jake DeBrusk together. He's moved around some of the other lines, but yeah, I thought it's looked pretty good, and I thought, honestly, EP40's game against Montreal was pretty solid. He scored again. You could clearly see he's shooting the puck a lot more. He's getting in on the on the forecheck, and I thought guys like Brock were a lot more relevant last night too. Just not good enough, and Lankinen didn't have his greatest night either, in my opinion.
I think I could see Petey's actual thoughts, like a thought bubble above his head on
Totally.
that goal, where he was about to pass, and then it's like
Uh-huh.
he remembered. He's like, "Oh right, I'm gonna get yelled at if I don't shoot," and then he shoots and he scores.
That's so funny you say that, because that's the exact way. And I've had those exact same thoughts for like the last 4 games, and not just like it's Brock too. It's a few guys, and you can see them go to do their normal thing, and then like, oh right, and then they snap and go do something else. Same on the power play. The players all just stand and they're all just looking at each other and like, what, are you gonna do something? Are you gonna do something? And then they
Yeah,
were like, oh shoot, right, we're supposed to move. And then they all like mass skate around like, you
they're all
guys,
just looking around for Hughes. Where?
he's here somewhere, right?
He's got to be. It's all we
Oh,
do is give it to Hughes.
yeah, you can. It's not second nature for these guys, and that's a problem. Like, we were
Yeah,
through, and for the people, I'm I would say still pro Talkett. I still want
I
him on
am
the
too.
team. I
Yeah.
still like him as the coach. But for those who do not, that's where I understand it. We are well through this season. He had all of last season and part of the season before, and still guys are like questioning. And maybe that's personnel more than coaching. It's hard to say. Like how you can only coach so much before the player just has to do it. But man, like if it's not second nature for these guys yet, yikes.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he just needs to take a harder approach with these guys because we've said on previous shows, he's saying all the right things, right? Carry the puck into the zone, come with speed, go to the middle of the ice, take shots, create rebounds, and it's not happening. We're still playing the dump and chase, the soft perimeter stuff. Um, it's not landing.
So interesting you say that because I have this feeling, and I think there's been a lot of people in Canucks world, fans and media, that have had the same feeling of Tocchet has gone about this the player like pro player way, like
Yeah,
being very gentle with players, being very diplomatic. I think that's over. I think he's like, okay, this is clearly not working. We're going back to my way, and my way is not going to be the fun way. It's not going to be caring about everyone's little feelings. Like this is business, and we're going to go take care of it, and we're going to see who sticks in and who folds. So
well, because you know who else was very pro player and got a lot out of the team initially,
Bruce,
only then to have the lack of structure and
there he
discipline.
goes.
And yeah, Bruce Boudreau. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is reminiscent of that, and I love that he's given them as much leash as he has. He really gave them an opportunity to turn it around themselves
Yeah.
and play the right way. It's not happening,
Yeah.
and I think lately with these reduced ice times, this last game wasn't the first time that's happened. Petey's
Mm-hmm.
had some lower ice times. I think we're starting to see it, and he's being a little bit or a lot more direct in calling people out pretty specifically in post game.
Yeah.
And when it comes, especially to guys like Brock, sure, Jake and Petey, they're locked in for 5 to 8 years. They're not in a lot of danger. Brock's playing for a contract right now. He's getting called out by his coach.
Playing
That,
13 minutes on a team
uh-huh,
that doesn't have any superstars.
yeah,
Like, whoa. And can't
yeah,
score. The lowest scoring team since I think December.
yeah.
Yikes.
That's saying something. So I
Yeah.
think the gloves are off, and I'd like to think that if the team responds and starts playing the right way, then there's a balance to be found, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a maybe a little lack of discipline or identity in the team that's hurting them.
And I should say, I think I mentioned earlier that I think like Brock had a good night last night. I thought he had a good start to his night last night. I thought he completely mailed it in for the second and third. Like he just gave up, it seemed like, which is again not Brock like. And I wonder if is there hurt feelings from the comments from the team? Is there hurt feelings from his friendship with JT Miller? It's weird, but I don't like it. I think there's a lot of guys with a lot of feelings on this team, and I'm like, guys, just play hockey. Just go and do your job. Like the bare minimum, the thing you're actually signed to do, just go do that. And we'll worry about everyone's feelings once you start winning. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I was pretty disappointed. There was a couple plays where he's around the net and he's the clear guy to the puck pops out. You have two Canucks on either side of the goaltender digging for the puck, and the puck pops out to the middle. Brock Besser is to the side of the net, skates towards the puck, is kind of second guy to get there and just kind of swings through it. Like there's no effort to actually, and that was a great, like it was a puck in the slot with no one around it. And then like later on, they pull the goalie, they pass it. I think it was to Hronek, who like winds up for the shot, and it was Brock was trying to set a screen, and he jumps a little bit, but it looked so comical because you have guys all around the perimeter, and you have Brock skate to the middle of the ice where there's nobody, and he does like a little like jump, like he made it probably 2 inches off the ice, and he blocks it. He blocked the shot and the puck went out the other way. And the Canucks, that was their chance. They did not have another like firm chance like that for the rest of the game, they lost the game. But Brock skated out of his way. But the problem was, like, if it's a screen, you're thinking like get towards. No, he was like above the slot, like between the circles out there,
Closer to the
exactly
shooter.
where the defender goes to block the shot. He went out by himself and blocked the shot. It was.
Maybe Besser knows he's not getting a big contract, and he just
Well,
put a ton of money on Montreal.
that's what I was messaging people last night. I'm like, I think this guy's trying to get a contract tonight, but not with us. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave that there. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a big game, I want to say, tonight. But it's hard to even say that it's a big game against Calgary because that was such a huge loss against Montreal last night that I'm feeling. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's a must-win in the sense that if your team can't get up for this game and take it to the Flames, what are they even doing?
See, and like I felt like last night was that game. Last night is the opponent that's beatable. That's the opponent where you have decently fresh legs. You're at home. You have everything going for you. This game, they then flew out after the game last night to Calgary. They got to bed at like 2 a.m. probably. It's a 6 o'clock start in Calgary, plus they lose the hour. And you're playing against a team that has been waiting, I think it's since Saturday. They've just been like waiting at home for the Canucks.
That makes me think that maybe the team was looking ahead to Calgary a little bit too much.
Possibly.
Looking past Montreal.
Possibly. I don't know how they look past their own toenails at this point. Like, I don't know. So anyway, I felt like last night was their opportunity and they blew it. And as much as I want to say tonight's a big game, I don't even really I've lost the kind of hope and excitement that was coming out of tonight's game because last night was so demoralizing.
Yeah, I think they're hanging on by a thread at this point, but I think that this game will be, if not a nail in the coffin, like a heavy duty latch with a lock.
And it makes the Canucks look extra bad if this happens and they go through this skid and don't make playoffs with holding with the guys they did. So
always the concern.
And the more I've listened, the more I think they realized they made the mistakes they did. I think they thought they were going to send Brock to places like Carolina. Carolina thought they were going to be able to get guys like Brock, but the Rantanen and stuff took so long to actually finalize that they didn't have access to the picks coming until it was already too late. So
yeah,
just lots of mismanagement.
but then I've heard that management didn't want to take a first from Carolina for Besser because they didn't have the opportunity to flip that for help now, which just makes me think, you idiots. But, yes, this year is not your year.
But it's because there's not enough time. So because maybe Carolina could have got that pick away in the trade, but it would have happened at like 11:58 or something like that.
And what's wrong with that?
It would have been so close to the deadline that they didn't have time to then flip it to another team for another trade.
Right, but my point is that, okay, then you go into June, July, and you go find a player with that pick.
Right, yeah.
And you build for next year. You recognize Hughes hurt, Demko hurt, Miller traded, Petey broken.
But I think we even said this last podcast, like the Canucks aren't selling. They aren't gonna go through this a worse team than they currently are in like on paper.
But that's also the one thing I said they couldn't do was hold on to Besser and lose him for nothing. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
But it was the one thing we knew that the owner was going to have was this team can't look worse going into the playoffs than it did prior to the deadline. So I think we knew, whether we love it or hate it, we knew that this team, they weren't moving out pieces unless they can bring in replacements. And at that time, they were in a playoff spot. So everything that happened, it was mismanagement of Brock Besser, and it was mismanagement on the Carolina side with Mikko Rantanen, and all that went down. It was a lot of mismanagement by a few different teams.
Ownership.
Yeah. Well, by both teams. Carolina's ownership is extremely involved, probably more than any other owner in the league.
I need to put forward a motion to keep the ownership doghouse as is for another week. Now I'm angry again.
Yep. That's
But we'll
fair.
get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there. I do have a contender anyway for the doghouse. Someone who's knocking on the front door.
Fair enough.
So you had some thoughts on Quinn Hughes. I'm interested to hear that.
Well, it is sort of about Quinn Hughes, but it's about a larger issue altogether. And that's the way that the Canucks and their executive, their ownership, their medical staff deals with injuries.
I figured you were going there. Yeah.
So this is becoming a little bit of a story, and it's got some history. We can go back to, I think it was 3 years ago, Tanner Pearson. So Tanner Pearson needed season-ending hand surgery. Quinn Hughes is asked about him and comes right out and says that it wasn't handled properly, and it's not a good situation he's got there. So the team had originally said 4 to 6 weeks, and then now he's out for the season. Friedman had said regarding Demko last year that before the playoffs, he says that it's his belief the Canucks told Demko, we need to know we can count on you in the postseason. We don't want uncertainty, and you have to play 2 games before the playoffs before we commit to you to start the postseason. So what it does is forces Demko to rush to get back, and he's not 100%. And then he gets one win, and then he's hurt.
Yep.
And so is that happening again? We saw Hughes. He was out. He comes back, plays 2 games where he looks terrible, does not look like himself at all, is on the ice for, I think, 7 goals against or something obscene.
Yep.
And then he's gone again. Then I think,
Elias Pettersson this past year was supposed to be out like day to day, and he was out like 2 weeks or something like that.
And then does that give PD's injury claim any legitimacy? Right? Did they force him to come back and play through something that he shouldn't have? And you think, okay, Joshua hasn't been himself. Was he rushed back from his surgery? Was Besser rushed back from his concussion? Is that why he doesn't look
or just
really
not
like
properly
Besser?
treated, even.
Or not treated? Or same thing from, when he basically broke his back. What about when Manny Malhotra lost his eye and he was back in for the finals? Like,
I don't know how far back this medical staff goes. I don't know when they were hired, when they were that sort of thing. But
no, that's a fair point. I might be talking out of my butt here, but I think as a general ethos around the team, it's concerning. So what do you think?
Yeah, the Canucks have 3 statements that have been, currently do, and forever will be true. And that is, Canucks have fabulous goaltending. Canucks have terrible injury problems. And the Canucks, what was I going to say? What was the third one? It completely left me. That was sad.
Yeah. Felt like we were really building up to something.
I know, right? I'm playing a little bit hurt today. I've been sick for a couple days, so maybe that played into my.
It's going around. I got something in my throat. I feel like I'm barely holding it together too.
Oh man, yeah. I don't remember exactly what it is. I had completely.
It's scary though, because we, like you mentioned earlier, Demko, Hughes, Pettersson, Miller. We were talking at the beginning of last year that there's not like a combo that you would rather have on the ice anywhere in the NHL than what the Canucks could roll out.
And we will forever have Canucks drama. That's what the third one was.
Yes. That is very true.
I don't know how I could forget that.
Yeah. I think that's just, it's so assumed. That's fair. So I don't know. It scares the heck out of me.
Yeah.
That we're going to keep doing this and we are going to ruin incredibly talented guys and either literally ruin their careers, or we're going to frustrate them so much that they leave at the first
Well,
opportunity.
and you would think if Quinn Hughes has a problem with them, that he would go to management and be like, you guys have to get, like, I'm not going to stay if these guys stay here. And I think they would have to move them. So, like, hopefully, if they are legitimately an issue and this isn't just a series of unfortunate events, that he goes to them, because I think he's got a bigger voice than anyone on the team, maybe even more than Francesco Aquilini, to really go and be like, hey, like, these guys need to go. Now, again, we don't know. We don't have no idea if they're the issue or what, but this has just been a trend that's gone on for a long time and is being talked about more and more because, like, a lot of teams don't have this continual issue over and over and over, and yet we still don't have cap relief going into the playoffs.
Because
Vegas has continual issues, but that's intentional.
guys get hurt. Nobody's saying that guys don't get hurt and we shouldn't have injuries. The problem is the re-injuries. It's
Yeah.
coming back and not being 100% and then getting re-injured. Just to be clear, that's
Yeah.
the issue.
And again, Mark Stone gets re-injured all the time, but that's very conveniently timed and placed.
Oh man, someday.
Okay. Well, we've talked a lot about the Carolina Rantanen situation. That also continued to have drama past the trade deadline.
I kind of love it.
So me too. And I love it because it's the Canucks aren't involved. We are just
Yep.
sitting watching from the sideline.
It's like,
So
oh, what a joke of a franchise. Losers.
Terrible owners, can't get star players in. Oh man. Yeah, so there have been some comments made. So it started with Rod Brindamore. Apparently was been unhappy when Rantanen came in and was very unpleased that Rantanen wasn't loving it. I think he was fine with Rantanen coming in. He was very unhappy that Rantanen wasn't fitting in and, embracing the culture and everything that goes with it. So I have some quotes from a Sportsnet article that came out regarding all of this. Starts with Rod Brindamore's side. He says, quote, "There's not been one guy that has left here because they didn't like it. That was except for Mikko. And he didn't not like it when he showed. He said, there's 4 teams I'll go play for, but you're not one of them. So there's 28 other teams he wasn't going to. The better question is, should we have known that before he signed? Sorry. The better question is, should we have known that before we signed him or attempted to sign him?" End quote. Went on to say, Mikko was the only one that I've been associated with that said, this is not for me. I think there's other circumstances on that, the Hurricanes coach said. It's not because of the hockey. It's because I think his family. It wasn't for him. Good. I appreciate that. He let us know that. We probably should have known that before we made the deal. Maybe that changes how we go about things. Who direct shots up to his bosses. Lastly,
but also,
he says,
yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. Lastly, he says, Gensel was the totally opposite thing. If we had offered him the contract we offered him at the end, he's here. But we didn't, for whatever reason, another shot up to management. So, like, this is not just on Rantanen. He's sending direct missiles up to his superiors. We didn't, for whatever reason. That's a different conversation. All the other guys that walked out of here at free agency is because they got paid a lot more money than we were offering. They all wanted to stay. Whoa. Thoughts?
Oh, man. I was just looking up the Brindamore contract.
He just signed one like this past summer, I think.
which is super interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe, because I thought, okay, maybe he's on his way out and he just doesn't care anymore. I've known people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a bit of a situation like that at the moment myself, dealing with one of those. Or maybe he's just into a new contract and he's like, well, if they don't like it, yeah, they can fire me, pay me out. I'm still going to get paid. I'm just going to speak my mind here. I think that's I super love it because it's not Vancouver drama.
Yeah.
Um, and it's shining the spotlight on where it should be. He's
Yeah.
defending his team and their culture and what they're
Mm-hmm.
building there. And I think he's right to do it. I don't think Carolina's a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team to play for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that is some spicy quotes there.
Yeah. And I believe he is the pride of Campbell River. I just want to confirm that. Rod Brindamore, birthplace. Oh, okay. So he was born in Ottawa, but he was raised in Prince Rupert and Campbell River.
Okay.
So very local guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very interesting. It's been very well known that it's very well known that the Carolina Hurricanes decisions are made based on their general manager, Eric Tolsky, who is like the mastermind nerd stats guy, and their owner, Dundle, something like that. Tom Dundle. Yeah, Tom Dundon, their owner. He has been very involved, and I think like if you think that Frankie Aquilini is involved, this guy makes him look like he's just out doing his own thing, doesn't even know that he owns a team. Thomas Dundon is extremely involved in the Hurricanes organization and is like one of the reasons that agents, I think, hate working with that team in terms of making contracts and that sort of thing. It is very well known. There's a lot of distaste for how that organization is run. I think it's the reason that their other general manager, Waddell, I believe it was, went over to Columbus and is now the general manager for Columbus. So anyway, lots of interesting things going on there. But there were shots made towards Rantanen and about, him being, I'm not one to be here. And that was the headline that was taken. I could have been to, I only want to go to like 4 teams. And essentially there's 28 I don't want to go to. So that got everyone kind of being like, okay, this guy seems like he's a bit of a diva. He very much just wanted to go to very specific places and blah, 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 blah.
I'm sure
So
Vancouver
then,
was high on that list.
oh yeah, totally. So then Rantanen's agent kind of claps back at Rod Brindamore, saying, quote, "We've got a ton of respect for Rod Brindamore, both as a player and as a coach. But in this situation, he's completely misinformed. Mikko, when he was traded, we were solely focused on Colorado, so there was no list of any kind. In fact, when we arrived there, I met him in the days following, and he was keeping a completely open mind about Carolina. He felt it out. It just didn't make sense from more of a hockey standpoint, from a style of play standpoint. So it sounds like he didn't mind like the culture and that sort of thing, but wasn't kind of connecting with the style of hockey that Rod Brindamore played." He continues, "This is a player that had a right to determine where he was going to play for the next 8 years of his career. He gave it a
Starting in
lot of
July.
thought." Starting in July, correct. "He gave it a lot of thought. Even at 4 Nations, after 4 Nations, he had not made up his mind. And ultimately, he did make up his mind, and we helped Carolina out by providing a list of teams at that stage in terms of where he would go. But that is the truth. That's how this unfolded. Anything otherwise is just not the case. Lastly, Rantanen could have easily said, no, I'm going to wait to become an unrestricted free agent and walk to free agency. Or he could have said, trade me elsewhere, but I'm going to remain a rental. And they wouldn't have recouped the assets they recouped in this deal had he had done that. The fact he was willing to sign an extension with Dallas at this juncture was big for Carolina. They would not have got the return they got on Mikko's trade to Dallas if he wasn't prepared to sign. In fact, he wouldn't have been traded to Dallas if he was not prepared to sign an extension there." So that's a major clapback from the agent, and I don't know if this is going to catch the headlines. There's probably going to be a lot of people just reading the one headliner quote from Rod Brindamore saying there's only 4 teams he wanted to play for, blah blah blah. This shows that yeah, it makes sense. He worked his whole career to go to free agency and choose the place he wanted to work. He gets traded, and now the team that traded for him is like, "Hey, we traded for you. You should sign with us." Oh, you don't want to sign for us? Then screw you. Like, he very much can just go to free agency. That's how this works. If he doesn't want to sign with you, he goes to free agency. If you trade for him, you're trading for a rental. You're not trading for a guy that has a contract. So if you're mad about that, that is on you. And I think Rod did take appropriate shots up to management for that. But I think Ranton is taking inappropriate heat here, actually, for how this went about, because it is every right of Rantanen's to do what he did, and he actually helped out Carolina majorly. And I was even thinking about this before when the trade happens, when it happened, that if he, like, by making that decision to give a list that he wanted to sign with and feel okay about signing at this time, he is letting Dallas, like, I don't think Carolina could have recouped like half those assets if he didn't make that deal. Like, no. Stankoven, 2 firsts and 2 thirds. Are you kidding me? So anyway, the fact that he got heat from Carolina head coach after all this, and then from a lot of people for how it spread like wildfire, I think I'm actually Team Ranton, which is not what I was expecting to say when I was prepping this show doc.
I think that there's a kernel of truth to that. I think that's a lot of agent spin. I'd be willing to bet that it's 100% both of these things. I think that when Carolina traded for Mikko Rantanen, they were expecting to get Mikko Rantanen for the rest of this season and a playoff run, and that he was going to be approximately the Mikko Rantanen that we've seen for the better part of a decade in Colorado.
Right.
He didn't deliver that. Mikko Rantanen didn't deliver that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he was also saying, look, you guys, I'm not going to be playing for you. Like, yeah, I'll serve out my year here, but I'm gone. We can stop talking contract. I'm not going to play here.
Mm-hmm.
And his play wasn't backing it up either. So I don't view this as, oh, Mikko Rantanen's a great guy who helped out the Hurricanes. No, I think he didn't live up to his end of the bargain with his play and ended up kind of facilitating a trade to a place that he wanted to end up anyways. I think there's egg on everybody's face here, but I bet it's both of those things. I think that he came in, he didn't play, he said he didn't want to play there.
I don't know. Didn't play. I don't know if he didn't, like, I didn't watch a lot of Carolina games. I wasn't hearing a ton about like Rantanen packing it in. It was just Rantanen wasn't getting the kind of points that he was getting in with the Avalanche. I think, as far as I understand, his play was just fine. He wasn't just mailing it in. At least I haven't heard any complaints of him mailing it in. So if it's just a points thing, then his argument and his agent's argument of, yeah, well, he didn't fit in with the style of play makes total sense. If the way Rod's style didn't match the style of game that Rantanen has, he's not going to produce points. And why would he go to a place that's not going to, like, it doesn't fit the style of game he plays? He's gone to Dallas. He's got like 3 goals in his first 2 games or something like that.
3 points.
Like,
yeah.
No, like 3 goals.
No.
He's got at least 2.
He's got 2 and 1 assist. Yeah.
Okay. So he's got 2 goals in, I think, 2 games or 3 games or something like that. Not too bad. I think he's got as many points as he had in 13 with Carolina. So
as many goals, anyways, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I think that might have been deployment and that sort of thing as well. I think that Rantanen I was expecting him to do much better in Carolina. But I think, like, him having 14 games on a new team in a situation where he wasn't even expecting it just happened out of nowhere, and Carolina didn't even reach out to him or make any chance to talk to him beforehand to say, hey, we're making a big investment in you. do you even want to come to play for us? Like, do you think this would fit? Like, I don't know. This is kind of a big investment to just, I don't know. We're just going to trade for him like it's NHL 25 and he's totally going to fit in, right, guys? Right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Man's under contract. He doesn't get to choose
Man's
until
under, but he
July
came and played.
1st.
He came and played.
Sort of.
He didn't score, but that doesn't mean he didn't play. He
6
came
points,
and
-3 in 13 games. I don't think he
that
came as advertised for the Hurricanes. That's all I'm saying. I don't think he came in there and thought, I'm going to do whatever I can to help the Carolina Hurricanes win a Stanley Cup this year.
maybe not. But I don't know if there's anything saying that he didn't do that.
Fair enough.
I don't think you can just
Ray
look at
Dog's a
points.
Rantanen apologist. It's fine.
I don't think you can just look at points and say he didn't even try.
Pretty sure
Because
that points was the thing that you used to explain how great Rantanen was. Do you know how many points he gets every year? Yeah, like 100? Yeah, like 100.
Totally.
Your point that he gets
No,
points.
he's a very good player, but just plopping him into a team, into a completely different system in the middle of the season and saying, hey, we want you to, and how many points did he, or how many games did he play before they said, okay, we're going to trade you? 7, 8? How many games did he have of runway? I also want to say that Elias Lindholm had like 2 goals in I don't know how many games when he came over to the Canucks, and then did great in the playoffs. So what they do in that first stretch when they first join the team isn't necessarily what they're going to do the rest of the way. But Carolina was scared because they needed the deal. They lost Gensel last year. They couldn't have that happen again. They needed to move him. Well, wouldn't it be smart to make the trade and get the deal? If you need to have that happen, if you're so set on that happening, then trade him and have the deal be part of the conversation. And if he doesn't want to sign a deal with you, then maybe that's a red flag that he's not a good fit. Like, this doesn't feel like rocket science. And I think Rod Brindamore firing up to his supervisors to say, hey, maybe we should have known this before we tried to make a deal with him, before we traded for him. Maybe that'll change how we go about things in the future. He's very clearly frustrated with how Carolina management has been running things, how their owner has been doing things, because it's not a smart way to conduct business. That's not how you asset manage.
Okay, I'll say one more thing, and then I'll let you have the final thought, and then we'll move on from this extremely dead horse.
It's already buried and decomposed.
Oh yeah, I think from a managerial perspective, they scout this guy. They know his style of play. They know the attributes that he brings. They know what he can do, and they say, "Yeah, we're going to give you this for 2 to 3, 4 months of that guy." That was the deal. Full stop. The deal to Carolina was not contingent on him signing a contract like it was to Dallas. It was, we're giving you all of this stuff, and we're going to get him for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So I can understand from their perspective, what does it matter if he wants to stay in Carolina? He doesn't have to love playing in Carolina. He just has to do it because that's his job. That's what he's getting paid to do. That's what we're now paying him to do, is his job. So I get why, from the Carolina side, there would be a lot of pushback as well on this. So, anyways, final thought to you.
I think you can't just bring a player in and say, "Hey, do the thingy." You know, like the thingy you did over there. Just do it here. Hockey is a game played against other professionals. I think it's extremely difficult to do the things he was doing in Colorado.
Montreal disagrees.
And I think the way that the system that Colorado had worked with the system, that like the type of player that Rantanen is, the way he was being utilized worked. If for me, as a hockey player in a rec league, if you got me to try and play a completely different style than what I am good at, I'm going to be very bad. I am very good at playing a style that is works for getting points and scoring goals. But if you just try and change that and say, hey, I want you to be a defensive player that's getting back on every single back check, and this is just a ball hockey league, and that's not going to work in terms of producing the same amount of points.
Oh, the rollerblades. It's all coming together now. I really want to comment on that, but I'm not going to.
Come on, do it.
No.
One last comment.
No, not
This is
going
our
to.
podcast. We make the rules. Go ahead.
I'm making this one.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah. Very
Final
interesting.
thoughts. I think he's going to do very good in Dallas. I think Carolina needs to learn how to asset manage much, much better. I think their owner needs to completely step aside and let their general manager, who knows and is very smart, run the organization properly. And I think they'll be just fine. I think that Rantanen should have played better when they had him. But with how Carolina runs things from the top, I'm not shocked that all of this was mayhem while he was there in his 14 games that was divided by 4 nations in the middle of it. I'm not surprised. I think he's going to do very well in Dallas, and I think that's egg on the face of the Carolina Hurricanes.
So owners need to butt out. Managers need to be allowed to do their thing. Poor asset management. Boy, it sounds like the Canucks and the Hurricanes have a lot in common.
We should make a deal. So we have a player named Elias Pettersson.
Right? So speaking of baffling decisions, I want to get your take on this. Patrick Waugh pulls the goalie down 3-0 versus the Anaheim Ducks with 12 minutes to play in the third.
The most Patrick Waugh thing ever.
What do you make of that move?
This is not the first time he's done it.
No.
This is something he's done throughout his full career.
I recall seeing like some 7-8 minute head scratchers, but I don't know that I've ever seen 12.
Dude, I think he did like the second period one time, and they scored, and I think they started a comeback. It was like the first time he ever did it, and then that kind of sparked like him doing this and making it his thing. I think it's stupid. I think you clearly don't. I mean, I guess in a way you trust your players by doing this, but I think you really don't trust them to just come back in the game 5-on-5. Like you think you have to go chips all in really early in order to have a chance. Now, statistically, there is some logic behind it, actually. You're down 3-0. The odds of you coming back from down 3-0 are very slim, especially halfway to go in the third period. But it's extremely increased by scoring a goal and only being down 2, and the chances of scoring a goal with the extra man goes way up. So statistically, there is an argument to be made. If I'm the fan of that team, I don't love it at all. I think it's a weird shtick that just isn't conducive to winning hockey. And I don't think the players, I doubt the players love it. That like in the third period, all of a sudden your goalie's getting pulled and now the game's over and you still have half a period to play. I don't love that. But it's
plus
it's
when you pull the goaltender, it's kind of an all-out press, right?
Yeah.
You can't let somebody get the puck with any time or space. So anytime a puck squirts out to the boards, you have to be on it. That'd be a really tiring way to play, and you cannot take a single second off. Now tell your team they've got to do that for 12 minutes. That'd be brutal. Yeah. Be like, guys, here, let's try to get one goal before like the 5 minutes left in the third mark, and then we'll pull the goalie down 2 goals with 5 to go. Something along those lines. But you're right. If they haven't shown that they can score a goal at 5-on-5,
I'm more inclined to see something like, okay, we're switching our offensive strategy from like, okay, everyone needs to come back. We're playing a good, well-rounded hockey game to now you guys are pushing for offense.
Yes.
We are not having the forwards come back very far. We are outlet passing like crazy. We're trying to get rushes. Like
defense
you just change the strategy rather than pulling the goaltender. That's more what I think. If you're wanting to be drastic about it, I think that's more the way to go.
Me too.
Rather than pulling the goalie. And I think it's just a funner brand of hockey too, rather than just like these players are thinking like, I can't like give this up or else our game is automatically over. I don't know. I think it's dumb.
I think it reeks of desperation.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Change the style. Tell people to, not ignore their defensive responsibilities, but loosen them. Be more aggressive. Go after all those loose pucks. Pinch down the boards. Do all those things and try to get one, and then we'll see.
And I think Patrick Waugh loves having like his thing. Like he likes being weird. I think he loves being the guy that does the weird things. And so I think this is just very much a part of that.
I think there's an element of I bet this will get my name in the papers tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's done something like that before, right? Once, and maybe he went up and talked to a general manager that was sitting in the
Oh
crowd. I
yes,
don't
I
know.
think that was in the middle of a game, even
Yeah, it
maybe.
could have been where he was getting pumped.
There's so many goals against. Oh
uh,
jeez. Okay. Well, that was fun. I saw that and I'm like, I wonder. It could be interesting.
Speaking of getting pumped, I don't know. We don't have the video, or we can't show any of the video here. But if anyone's interested, if you don't particularly like Sam Bennett, look up Zadorov fighting Sam Bennett, because Zadorov beat the brakes off him last night. Absolutely ragdolled him.
I miss
So
that,
anyway,
buddy.
a little bit of homework for anyone that is pro Zaddy and anti Benny, I guess.
Yeah, good stuff there too. Okay, I put in here a brief discussion on Ekblad getting suspended for 20.
Yeah.
So my initial thought was 20 games. That doesn't seem like much. A lot of sports, you get busted for like performance enhancing, your season's done. So then I my tinfoil hat went on, and I thought, isn't that about what's left in the regular season for Florida? About 20 games? And I got up in arms about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then I went back and I'm like, okay, let's see what other guys have got. Jared Tenorti, 20 games. Nate Schmidt, 20 games. Sean Horkoff, 20 games. Zenon Konopka, great name, 20 games. So I guess it's par for the course. So it's a
Yeah.
nothing burger.
I think Nate Schmidt was maybe the last person to get suspended. I don't remember. I don't know
Could have
what he.
been. I couldn't find like a nicely summarized list
Yeah.
of
So NHL has like 7, I think, PEDs. Like 7 players that have been suspended for PEDs in its history. That's
yeah.
like infinitely less than all the other major sports. So
Kind of
okay.
makes you wonder if it's a testing thing.
So the NHL doesn't have concussion. No, it doesn't have CTE.
That's right.
It doesn't have PED issues.
Uh-uh.
Okay. So this is just Gary's league. It's just special somehow.
It's not
Okay.
like hockey's a
Okay.
contact sport or something, okay?
No.
You
And
skate
it's
up to a guy, you say, "Excuse me, sir, I would like to have the puck now." Oh, goodness, I didn't realize you were there. Please.
also performance enhancers don't really help hockey players. It's kind of like golf that or ping pong maybe. It doesn't really like help you all that much. It's more of a mind game, right? So yeah. I'm making a joke. I'm being sarcastic. If you haven't noticed.
Okay.
Yeah. It's strange. I don't know where that comes from. Supposedly, yeah, as you see here, he took some medication that is against PEDs and injury, but I feel like that's what they all say. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange.
It's a tale as old as time. I was just trying to do the right thing and recover and made an oopsie.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! I thought it was Advil.
Yep.
All right, off to dog of the week. Who have you got, Andy?
Dog of the week. This was another one that I found a little bit difficult to
Me too. I really
find
struggled
a
with this
dog of
one.
the week. So I don't know that I necessarily think that this player was an absolute dog, but I think there was enough good and good vibes and fun stories around this guy that I'm going to give him like technically dog of the week, but with like a little asterisk. Like, I'm going to give it to Derek Forbert.
Ha! I like it.
Scores a goal, almost scores a second. Has the good vibes moment with being the kid's favorite player. So
yeah.
I'll give him an even bigger honor and make him Andy's dog of the week.
I love it. I was between. I thought about Forbert, strongly considered it. I went between Hoglander and EP40.
Oh,
EB40 again scored one of the Canucks' few goals, and Hoglander's just continued to battle. But you saying Derek Forbert, that just really hits home. I think that's the right decision. So I'm going to go Derek Forbert as well. I think
nice.
that's the right move.
I will give the forever honorable mention on my side to Connor Garland because the guy just goes all the time. And I love it. And I think he's rubbing off on guys like Hoglander because Hoglander's playing like a Connor Garland style of game right
Sure
now.
would too.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And I love it. We can't get enough guys like that playing that way.
Completely agree.
So
Completely agree. Doghouse. Do we keep Frankie there? I'm considering putting Brock Besser there.
oh
It's getting
man.
mighty close.
I think a case could even be made for a previous dog of the week in Kevin Lankinen.
Yeah.
I thought those were
Yeah.
not great games. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the team did like next to nothing ahead of them.
Yeah.
Right? Had one goal versus Dallas in the two periods. Well, ultimately three, but before Dallas took off. Um, and nothing through two versus the Canadians. But you want one of those big saves,
Yeah.
right? That maybe gives your team a bit of momentum, a bit of a spark, and he's been doing them all year. So if I had to choose somebody for the doghouse, I guess it would be Lankinen, but he doesn't really deserve it like
And
Frankie
he's been
did.
so good. It's not Doghouse of the week. It's Doghouse. So I think the past comes into play with Doghouse as well. I with you. I thought that he hasn't played fantastic, but he's also probably made some saves that he shouldn't have as well.
And it's only been two games, right? They've got Calgary, they've got another game before we would usually be recording, so
Yeah.
he's got a chance to turn this around still.
My vote, if we're picking a player, my vote is Brock Besser. He hasn't scored since before Four Nations. I believe it was the Leafs game right before Four Nations. I haven't even seen a lot of chances. When there is a chance, he's not in the right spot. He's not winning puck battles. Pedersen is outskating him. He looks slow and checked out. And again, this is a guy we just said, okay, we're going to keep him down the stretch.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Besser, you kind of made a statement by keeping him, that you see value in him, and he's not repaying that. Lankinen got no help. Um, yeah, I would be on board with Besser if you want to do that. I would also be okay with leaving Aquilini in on an audible for a second week.
Yeah.
What's your heart tell you?
Let's keep Aquilini in there one more week. Brock has gained a lot of goodwill among Canuckland, and I think that will keep him out of the house one more week. He deserves to be in there. It'll keep him out of the house one more week. But if he does one more week of what we've seen out of him, he's taken over Frankie's spot.
Besser, you're on notice.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, week 2 for Frankie Aquilini, and I do not hate to see it at all. Sorry, Frankie. Be better.
All right. I think we're off to the dog park. All right. Welcome to the dog park. And we're going to be starting off with a little segment Andy has created called...
We're renaming it the dog chain.
Oh!
So this was the word chain that I had a great deal of fun subjecting J-Dog to. Was that last week? No, week prior.
Week before, I think.
Yeah. So this is one of the 2.5 or 3 that I've prepared that are loosely hockey based. So I think I'm going to keep the timer at a minute just because I want him to struggle.
Oh, man. I've already struggled with my thoughts today.
Well, it should be good. I'll set out a couple of ground rules. He can ask one time in the chain for the next letter of the word.
Oh,
So
okay.
one-time use, a bit of a lifeline. So if you get truly stuck, I will give you the next letter at your
I'm assuming
discretion.
that doesn't pause the timer, though.
No, it does not.
Ah.
In fact, if anything, I will take time away.
Ah.
No, I won't do that. But one-time use, um, you will have 1 minute on the clock. Are you ready, good sir?
Nope, but let's go.
All right. Your time starts now. Frozen.
Frozen pond.
Pond.
Hockey.
Hockey.
Time. Hockey team.
Nope.
Hockey tier. Hockey hockey ugh. Hockey trap. Hockey trip. Hockey tail.
Dude, use your
Hockey.
letter.
Oh, letter.
A.
Hockey tank. Hockey
P.
tape.
Hockey tape.
Tape to tape.
Tape to tape.
Tape to tape pass.
Pass.
Pass. Pass. I.
Oh, his time is up. Oh,
Well.
an excellent effort, sir. Why don't you finish it off anyways?
Pass. I do not know what that word is.
A. Think directionally.
Back.
Pass back. Back.
Back. Man, these last ones are going to get me. Back.
His
4
poor
letters.
brain. His poor brain.
Yeah. Back.
I think it's Crosby's stick is well suited to the
hand.
hand. End of a playoff series.
Shake.
Shake.
Shake. R.
Shake R?
No? Well, there's 3-letter word starts with A. Shake. All? Shake. Letter.
N.
Shake and bake.
There you go. Shake and bake.
Oh, man.
Good
That was
effort.
good.
I like keeping
difficult.
this at a minute.
I bet you do.
Yep. I thought about
those are fun.
I thought about advising of the letter a little earlier. I thought maybe you'd forgotten about it.
I had forgotten about it completely.
Yeah, that's okay. The effort was there.
That's good. I made it past, I think, over half of them. So
yeah,
that's
passing
grade.
practically a win. Yeah, rounds up to 100%.
Hey. Oh man. Okay. We are. Where are we going next?
I believe you have the next one.
This or that. I believe we did this last week as well.
Sure
it is
did.
one or the other. Last week it was the mascots. It was King Cake, baby.
Oh man.
This week we're going to be looking at athletes, specifically top athletes from around the world of sports. We're going to see, and this is just for you, Andy. So we're going to see who comes out as your your athlete, I guess. And this is whatever parameters you want to base it on. This is just snap decisions, this guy or this guy, this person or this person. So
Okay.
you can go to Andy Don't Look, the first page, and we will be starting with Michael Jordan as the first spot, and the second spot is Babe Ruth. 1 or 2?
Oh, I know you said snap decision, but come on. Oh, jeez. Um, mm,
My turn to torture.
this would be a good, like, final showdown. These two.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth, people forget that he pitched as well and was good.
Right. I
Um,
also forgot that.
Two-way
People
player.
forget that Michael Jordan also played baseball.
No, well, I mean, better than me, I'll give him that. But okay, I think the GOAT discussion comes into play here. I think Jordan's the GOAT. I think baseball is a much closer decision. So, Jordan.
Okay. So that was 1. Jordan or Muhammad Ali?
Jordan.
Jordan or Tom Brady?
Man, okay. There's something about Tom Brady that just makes me feel like if I put in a little more effort, I could have been an NHL or NFL quarterback. He's just he just doesn't scream athlete to me.
Yep. Nope, he does not. And that's kind of why everyone's so enamored by him, is he doesn't scream athlete, and he's probably the most successful football player ever.
No, still Jordan.
Okay. Jordan or Gretzky? Political inklings aside, there's been a bit of stuff around Mr. Wayne and politics.
Yeah. I think if you had Jordan in his prime today, he fares a lot better in the NBA than Wayne Gretzky does in the NHL.
I'd agree with that.
So, still Jordan.
Jordan or Lionel Messi?
Oh man, Messi's so good.
So incredibly talented.
I don't follow football as closely as many, so I don't know
Football.
I don't know the GOAT discussion in football.
He was ranked number 1 in all of the football charts I was seeing.
I think just for my much greater familiarity with Jordan, I'm keeping it with MJ.
Okay. Jordan or LeBron James?
Jordan.
The ever
Jordan.
lasting.
Moving on. Jordan.
Serena Williams or Michael Jordan?
Oh man.
Serena may be the most decorated professional female athlete, maybe.
But would get her lunch fed to her by most men. Not most men
I don't know.
globally, but most men like on the professional tour.
I don't know. I would be curious about that.
Even she says she would.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Because that feels like a sport that I think she could, like, there's going to be some sports where, like, between hockey or like in hockey where the female leagues versus the male leagues, the men are just going to have the advantage just due to, anatomically. But tennis feels like it might be closer. I don't know.
She actually was asked that question. I guess it was a different interview that asked it, and she was asked her opinion on the fact that somebody said that she should be like the greatest athlete of all time, and she's like, I'm not even the greatest tennis player of all time. I would
Interesting.
I would get destroyed by so many men on on the professional
Interesting.
tour.
Huh.
So I'll
Well,
take
I
her at
appreciate
her
her.
word. I think if you segregated it into genders, I don't think you'd find
Mhm.
a more dominant athlete in their respective sport than Serena
Yeah,
Williams. But I'm choosing to define it as just
sure.
the GOAT in their sport.
Hmm.
And so I'm sticking with MJ.
Okay. MJ or Usain Bolt?
Okay, you were probably too young to really enjoy Usain Bolt's crazy.
No, I
Did you
I
catch it?
was through. Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Yep. I was. I mean, 10. I would say when he was at like the peak of his career, probably.
that guy would just stop running and look around and
Uh
celebrate
huh.
before he'd get to the line. And I'm like,
Oh man.
run faster, destroy the
He
record.
he could have
Oh,
annihilated records if he wanted to, for sure.
oh, he does not look good now. I don't know if you've seen him lately.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Um, hmm, I think that uh, I think that he's been caught now, hasn't he? I don't think he still holds the record
Oh, I'm not sure.
in most of them. I don't think.
I'm not sure. Okay.
So yeah, I guess still Jordan. God, Jordan's getting a lot of love.
I know. I was kind of curious. I wasn't sure who you did. I figured you'd latch onto somebody, but I had no idea who it would be.
Yeah,
Jordan or Bobby Orr?
I think Jordan.
Jordan or Cristiano Ronaldo?
For the same reason I chose Jordan over Messi. I'll choose him over Ronaldo.
Jordan or the god of the water, Michael Phelps?
Oh man, Phelps was all sorts of dominant there for a stretch.
Extremely. Not for a stretch. This dude has been dominant for like over a decade. Well over a decade.
I think that so many more people play basketball.
Michael Phelps has 23 gold medals, 3 silver, 2 bronze.
Okay,
23 gold.
right. But that's because if you scratch your nose, it's a separate event in swimming. It's ridiculous. Come on. Could you imagine if baseball handed out gold medals for fastest pitch, smoothest double play? Like, come on. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. You narrow that down to like, yeah, no, Jordan.
I'm trying to figure out how many Olympics he played in.
Yeah, I don't know.
5. He played in 5 Olympics. So that's 20-year span. 28 medals, 23 gold medals. Pretty darn good.
But how many
But you're sticking
people?
Jordan?
How many people competitively swim versus how many people play competitive basketball? I think that when you
Probably more
consider,
people competitively swim.
oh, get out of here, then play like
Swimming's way more accessible than basketball is.
I think so many more people play basketball at the lower levels that there's that the best are going to be the ones that move up, and because your pool of potential players is so broad that you're getting the best of the best. If you're naturally talented at basketball, you're probably going to figure that out. But I don't necessarily think that holds true with swimming. So I think overall it would be harder to become a NBA player than like a solid competitive swimmer.
That's fair. That very
Maybe
well
it's
could
not.
be.
I don't know.
In North America, I'd agree with you. I'm not sure worldwide, but
Listen, where do you think I live, pal?
in your own head.
That's true. Fantasyland.
All right. Well, not Michael Phelps. Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods?
God, you picked so many guys. Yeah, I mean, Tiger's had some incredible moments, individual moments, stretches of play. Um, but I think it's still Jordan.
I should have put Jordan in a little different spot, apparently.
You should have.
Didn't realize you.
I've kind of peeked ahead, and I think it's a clean
Okay,
sweep.
Jordan or Novak Djokovic?
Jordan.
Yeah, and Jordan or Patrick Mahomes?
Jordan, every day of the week, twice on
Okay,
Sundays.
that's all right.
Love,
Handy
love for MJ.
is the MJ guy. Okay, I
Yeah.
did not know that. That is something I've learned today. All right, Michael Jordan, kind of squashing the competition in this or that. I'll try to make sure to not make it so easy for you next time.
I don't think it was easy. I just think I managed to justify it every turn.
That's fair.
Yeah, good picks though.
Okay. To close out the dog park, we are going to be going back to Canucks trivia.
Okay.
So, question number 1. Oh, I guess we should be writing this down, hey? 2 seconds.
Oh, like for answers.
Yeah. Do you have your writing material?
I believe I still have my cards. I think I wrote on one of them, but
Oh.
that's okay. Oh, that's right. I wrote the score from last time when I won.
Oh, well, what was the score?
So you had said during the show that it was 11-9, but then when I was
Right, because
editing,
I
it was
forgot it was
not
double
that
the round.
close.
Yeah.
It's important to bring that up.
How many questions did we do total last time? Do you remember?
Oh, I think you had I think it was 15 or 16.
Okay. Should we do 10 today?
Yeah.
Okay. So, question number 1. In which year did the Canucks begin playing in the National Hockey League? A. 1967. B. 1970. C. 1976. Or D. 1980. I'm ready when you are. B. And B is the correct answer. Uno.
Many years of futility and disappointment.
All right. Question 2. 6 players from Vancouver's WHL team were called up for the inaugural season of the Canucks. True or false? Six players from Vancouver's WHL team were called up for the inaugural season of the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. I have it as false. The answer, it is true.
Let's go.
I gotta pick up my socks here. Question 3. How was the nickname Canucks chosen for the team? A, it was elected as the winner in a fan balloting contest in the local newspaper. B, it was chosen by the owner's wife in an effort to appeal to the nation instead of just the region. C, it was decided upon by the National Hockey League, with President Clarence Campbell having the final say. Or D, it was adopted from Vancouver's minor league hockey team.
I actually don't know this.
I don't either, which is strange.
That
I feel
is
like
strange.
we should know this.
Okay. Well, I've got to.
Ready when you are.
I've got to guess.
You're going A. I've got C. The answer is D. It was adopted from Vancouver's minor league hockey team.
You know, it's funny. With the exception of the NHL one, I feel like I had heard all of those before. So it was a blind shot.
Next question, and final one for round 1.
Nope, 2 more. I
In
think.
which season? Oh, sorry.
2 more. I think we're doing 5 in round 1.
Oh, okay. In which season did the Canucks begin to play in their new home, Rogers Arena, formerly General Motors Place? A. 1985. B. 1990. C. 1995. Or D. 2000.
Not
Ready
confident.
when you are. I also have C. The answer is C, 1995. And I continue to not make ground on Andy. Okay, last question, and then we'll go to the scoreboard. Who was the founder of the Vancouver Canucks? Entrepreneur Tom Scallon from Minnesota. B. Media magnate Conrad Black from Ottawa. C. Fishing mogul Michael Wilson from Vancouver. Or D. Real estate tycoon George Steinbrenner from New York.
Sorry, you're going to have to give me those options again because I didn't believe any of them.
Do you want them
I
again?
do. You can.
A. Entrepreneur Tom Scallon from Minnesota. B. Media magnate Conrad Black from Ottawa. C. Fishing mogul Michael Wilson from Vancouver. Or D. Real estate tycoon George Steinbrenner from New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another one I feel like I should know, but I don't.
Same.
Or maybe I do.
Oh. Ah. Hmm.
I feel like I've got to narrow down to two, and it's a guess from there.
Okay. I'm ready. You're going A. I've got D. The answer is A. Tom Scallon from Minnesota.
George
Oh,
Steinbrenner
that's
was
annoying.
the Yankees boss.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The score after round one is 4-2 for your old pal Andy.
Oh boy. Oh no.
But
Okay.
J-Dog can make up points in round two, where the points are doubled.
Oh baby, here we go. Question
Gonna have to start getting
6.
some right though.
Probably a good idea. Question 6. In which year did the Canucks earn their first ever playoff series win? A. 1975. B. 1982. C. 1987. D. 1991. I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
You're going A. I've got B. The answer is B, 1982. And that is what we're looking for. Let's go.
Just like that, J-Dog ties it up. That's gross.
Heck yeah. I hope you enjoyed your lead in the first round. All right. Question 2. The Vancouver Canucks have a winning record against every other Canadian NHL team. True or false? Now, this was written, let's see if it says anywhere, 2020, I believe. So, do we have all the teams? I don't think Kraken was a team yet, right?
Well,
in 2020?
Kraken's not Canadian.
Did I misread that? Good point. Good point. Okay. Well, this is after the Jets were created.
Neither is Utah, if you're wondering.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh man. I'm gonna go, man. Okay. You ready? False. I am also going false.
It's gotta be false. Gotta be false.
Has to be, right? Is false.
Yeah.
Indeed, it is false. It's one of those that, like, well, maybe. I feel like it would be more talked about if it was true.
Yeah.
But, okay. Question 3. How many times in their franchise history have the Canucks won a division title? Again, 2020. This excludes their division title from last season. A, 2, B, 5, C, 10, or D, 13?
Can you give me those again?
2, 5, 10, or 13? Ready when you are.
Oh man, I'm not sure. Oh, is it that few? Can it be that few? It can't be that few. Can't be. Okay.
All right. I'm also going C.
I was so tempted to take B, but that's so
The
few.
answer is C. 10 division wins. So 11 now. And do we have, is this our final one around 2 or do we have one more?
Final question of round 2.
Okay. And what's the score right now?
The score is 8-8.
Oh, baby. Okay. Here we go. Question 4. Who was the first Canuck ever to be named as Vancouver's representative in the NHL All-Star Game? Once again, who was the first Canuck ever to be named as Vancouver's representative in the NHL All-Star Game? A. Right winger Bobby Schmaltz. B. Defenseman Dave Talon. C. Center Thomas Gradin. Or D. Left winger Tiger Williams. I'm ready when you are.
Well, I feel like you came up with that too quickly. Or you just went with a
Maybe.
straight up guess.
You're going C. I'm going D. We're going to have possible leader here going into the final round. The answer is... which question is this? B. Dave Talon.
Yeah, we stink. That's fair.
What did you do? C?
No, B. Pretty sure it was B.
Oh, so you got it right.
No, I was lying.
You said B, right?
I was lying.
Oh, I see. What did you say?
C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we are tied 8-8 going into the final round. How does the final round work?
So I think the idea is that we need to wager before we read the question, unless you've already read the question, in which case I get it too. Have you already read the question?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So then wager a certain number of points. And I think maybe on 3 we'll just say how many points we're wagering so that it's out there.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Do we write it down, maybe, the number of points?
Oh, I think you're going to write down like 8 different versions and then wait till you see if you got it right before you hand it. I don't trust you.
Wait, no. We show each other at the same time. No?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Let's see.
All right. How many points are you wagering, Andy?
Whoop. 5.
4. Oh, no.
Opportunity knocks.
Guess I better win.
Or just not lose, really.
Or just not lose. Ooh, I'm actually in possibly a good place here. Okay. How did the Vancouver Canucks fare in their first ever NHL playoff run? A. Lost to the New York Islanders in the preliminary round. B. Lost to the Montreal Canadiens in the quarterfinals. C. Lost to the Blackhawks in the conference finals. Or D. Lost to the Red Wings in the Stanley Cup finals.
One of those things is not like the other. I feel a moderate degree of confidence. Very moderate. I know for sure one that it's not.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Do you want them resaid?
I'm worried that this is a tricky wording thing because playoff run. If they lost in the first round, is that a playoff run?
I think it's just meaning like their first
appearance
ever time to the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah. That's what my answer is based on. So
okay. Mine too.
And for that reason I chose A.
Okay, and I chose C. Now, the reason I stayed away from A was that's the Islanders. Were they playing cross country rounds in the first round of the playoffs?
I don't remember. I might be thinking about the first time they went to the finals and got swept.
And that's where they got beat by the Islanders.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Now that you say that, I'm sweating.
For
Gosh darn
the
it.
winner, here we go. The answer is B, lost to the Canadians in the quarterfinals. We are both wrong. So you lose 5, I lose 4, and I win. Woohoo!
He's the
Let's
the slightly
go!
lesser loser. What a glorious
Let's
way to win.
go. Oh man, I fell ass backwards into that one. That was fantastic.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow.
Okay, so you've won 1 and I've won 1 now. All right.
Indeed.
We're off to the draft. All right. Today we have another draft, and today's draft is the best sports movies. Andy,
Yes.
you have the coin. Who will be going first?
I believe the only caveat was you can't pick an entire series of movies. You would have
Correct.
to pick one movie within the series. So if you like the original and the sequel, that's 2 different picks.
Correct.
It is back to J-Dog.
Hey-o, let's go. Huge, because I have a very clear number 1, and I'm
Really?
so happy to take it. It is the movie that I most watched growing up.
Uh-oh.
It is about my favorite sport.
Uh-oh.
It is
Actually, that's probably good.
pure magic. It is Mighty Ducks D2. Absolutely love that movie. And it is easily my first overall pick in the sports movie draft.
Mighty Ducks D2.
The best of the Mighty Ducks.
Okay. I am not sad to hear that was your first overall pick. Mighty Ducks did not make my list.
Yeah, I kind of thought it wouldn't, you old man.
I love it. So, first overall, I am delighted to be able to take Happy Gilmore.
Oh, wow. Okay, that was 7th, 8th on my list, something like that.
I think it is my most watched, maybe my most watched movie ever. Definitely my most watched sports movie. And I still regularly quote it to this day.
It is very good. We could have done a whole like Adam Sandler sports movie draft.
We could have. Okay, this is a toss-up for number 2. I'm trying to pick based on what I think you won't. So, for number 2, I'm going to pick Bull Durham.
Not on my list. I'm very, very happy with that selection for you.
It is an older movie
on my list.
With a much younger Susan Sarandon. Baseball.
Also don't know who she is.
Wow, you're so young. I think it would probably hold up reasonably well. Maybe not for our younger audiences, but I think maybe that holds with Happy Gilmore also. So,
all right. Well, I am delighted to have my second and third choices. I'm going to be taking Moneyball with Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. Freaking love that movie.
Me too.
I believe it's maybe a Disney movie. I know Mighty Ducks is. I'm not sure if that one is actually or not. But my third selection is a Disney movie, and it is Cool Runnings.
Yes.
Love Cool Runnings. So that's my 1-2 stack. Or I guess my 2-3 stack. So I've got Mighty Ducks D2, Moneyball, and Cool Runnings 1, 2, 3.
Cool Runnings filmed in Calgary at the bobsled track.
That's right.
And I lived in Calgary at the time. And my friend would point to one freeze frame in the movie where you could see, like, in the crowd, half of a dude's arm. And he was like, "That's my dad."
Sure.
Yeah. Calling you out, Derek. That's a load of crap. Might as well have said it was
Derek's
you.
on blast.
Yeah. Derek, if you're one of our 20 subscribers. I know that wasn't Doug's elbow. Cool Runnings is great. One of those kind of feel-good sports movies where they don't end up the champions. Which is kind of fun.
Exactly. Moneyball as well. I'm actually, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen these very old movies.
Yeah,
Moneyball doesn't exactly get the win there either.
but they got a pretty big win.
A win, but that's not the win at the end of the movie.
Well, a record number of wins. Oh, now I've said too much. Anyways, moving on. With my third pick, I'm going to perhaps stretch the definition of sports movie a little bit.
Oh boy!
And I
get my veto button ready.
No. I think it'll be okay. I think you'll agree. It's sport enough. I'm taking Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah. I looked at that. I considered it. It was a very good movie. Ended up not making my list.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it though.
Interesting. I think it's got a little bit of just everything I enjoy in a movie. Definitely recommend it. Ford v Ferrari. I'm loving my draft again so far. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit harder. Okay. I'm going to take a just ridiculous, over-the-top, fun movie in Major League.
Another one that didn't make my list. Okay.
Wild Thing.
Tell me about Major League.
Oh,
I've also never seen it.
Yeah. It's a baseball movie again. Kind of a weird assortment of players with bizarre personalities and habits and superstitions, and they've all got to kind of, band together and find that common ground. Features Charlie Sheen with an amazing haircut and an incredible arm, but he is out of control with it, so they call him Wild Thing. It's great.
Okay.
Worth a look.
I'll have to give it a watch.
Major League.
All right. Well, I'm going just 1, 2, 3, 4 down my list, and my fourth selection, and this goes with my love of team management and draft days and that sort of thing. I will be taking the Kevin Costner movie
Draft Day. Yep.
I really love football. I really enjoy, off-season type things in sports. And thoroughly enjoyed Draft Day. So that is my next choice.
I really, really did as well. I've watched it actually a couple of times now, but I always tried to equate it to like its hockey equivalent because I'm not as big a football fan as you are. And when it comes to like 3 first-round picks for a guy, I'm just like, I have a hard time knowing if that is remotely feasible for an NHL or an NFL team to trade 3 first-round picks for somebody, or what the hockey equivalent of that would be.
So it's interesting that they do that because in reality, I feel like usually it's the opposite. It is you have top name players that are being traded for like a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick. That's it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm seeing it constantly and I don't understand it. And I keep asking football people like, why is it that top athletes in the sport are being traded for like low draft picks? Anyway, I still haven't got an answer. I'm still working on figuring that out. But it's interesting that the movie is so extra on how many high-end draft picks are getting moved, when in reality, I feel like it's the exact opposite. So
I do love it, and I love any of the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that we get from NHL teams at the draft or free agency or any of it. I agree.
I also just love sports trading and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I know it's a dramatization. It didn't happen. It's maybe exaggerated, but I still love it. I'm with you. It was on my list.
My last selection, another hockey movie, one with one of the most famous, iconic coach speeches to a team. I'm going Miracle on Ice. It's a movie that I think just captures international hockey at such a fantastic way. A lot of times those are documentaries, and the fact that they actually recreated this as a movie, I believe it's also a Disney movie. It's so well done. Thoroughly enjoy it. And yeah, it's just kind of like, I feel like that's kind of the epitome of hockey movies.
I should probably turn in my hockey fan card because I have not seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that wraps up the Dogs on Skates podcast. I'm
Wow.
just going to
Okay.
fold the whole thing.
Are you busy tonight? Because if you're not, I think you should get on that.
I think there's a hockey game tonight that needs my attention. That's not.
Does it though?
It's not
I
the
think it can
miracle.
go on your phone.
Yeah. How important is it that I watch a subpar effort and a loss to the Flames?
One thing I forgot to mention earlier. This is just a sub note. The Canucks are the 32nd in goals for. So in scoring since like December. Calgary is 31. It is the two lowest scoring teams tonight going at it.
Under.
Yes, I did. Okay.
I don't even know.
Anyway,
I don't even
that was
know
just a side
what
note.
the line is, but take the under.
It's 5.5, and it's very good.
Oh man.
Do you have any? Are you done?
No.
Have you filled it out,
No.
or do you have one more? Okay.
I have one more, and I'm torn between the fan service vote that people would riot if it wasn't on there, and just the movie that I enjoy the most.
Oh, there's going to be some rioting after this. I think there's some very clear football movies in particular, and maybe boxing movies that haven't made it on the list. But
Yeah.
continue.
There's one boxing movie in particular that I am really debating. It is an all-time classic, one of the greats, but instead I'm going to take The Water Boy.
Oh no! I was scared you were going there.
Water Boy. I am such a sucker for Adam Sandler movies. It's not even funny. It's not. Oh man, I should. Yeah, for the next section, I'll prove it. Yeah, Waterboy. Fifth and final pick.
All right. Does that close at your draft?
That does.
Okay.
My draft is bookended by Adam Sandler movies. All right, you want to recap yours? Hit me with a couple honorable mentions.
Okay, so I have the Mighty Ducks D2, Moneyball, Cool Runnings, Draft Day, Miracle on Ice, and I believe at least 3 of those are, maybe 4 of those are Disney movies. There's a lot of Disney movie in there.
Any honorable mentions you want to throw in there?
42, Jackie Robinson 42.
Okay.
Great movie, baseball movie, and really hits on the racial. It was at the turn of like when the racial
integration
divide was being amended, I guess. So,
yep.
Blindside, football movie, very good. Mighty Ducks 1, just OG classic. Invincible, another football movie about a bartender who is a walk-on, becomes a kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles, based on a true story. And Rocky, in particular, Rocky 1, but the Rocky series.
Yep, I had Rocky on my honorable mentions list. I also added The Sandlot, which is...
yes.
Yeah, it would be a shame not to mention Sandlot.
Of course.
The Replacements. I don't know if you've watched
I've
that
never
one.
seen that.
It's all the football, NFL players get locked out, and they bring in replacement players. And it's led by Keanu Reeves. It's entertaining. It's not a good movie, but it's entertaining. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch if you're bored. And then the last one I added was the top of my mind because it came up in a discussion I was having with my son. We saw a model of a car in a thrift shop we were at, and I'm like, the only other place I've ever seen this car is in this movie. And I started telling him about it, and that's Rollerball. but specifically not the original with like James Caan, but the remake with like who was it? LL Cool J, I think, is in that.
Okay.
Anyways,
Also never seen that.
yeah, I don't recommend making the effort to go and find that one. Um, actually,
Noted.
actually, you might like it. There are rollerblades in it.
Oh yeah, no, that's not enough of
It's
a
like
not
a
enough of a
it's
sell
like
for
a
me.
figure eight sort of track, and some people are on dirt bikes, rollerblades, all sorts of stuff, and you scoop up this ball and you can just like annihilate the competitors, and you got to dunk it. It's ridiculous. Rollerball.
Oh, I should have chose Harry Potter. Another honorable mention. Harry Potter. There's a lot of sports in Harry
It's
Potter,
not a
so
sports movie.
there's so much sports,
Oh man,
and that sounds very similar to that.
no, no, you're wrong. Um, yeah, I kind of want to go and watch my entire list again now.
Do you have any? Those were you. That was the end of your honorable
Yeah,
mentions.
I seconded Rocky, and then I added the Sandlot, the replacements, and
Yeah,
Rollerball.
sounds good. Okay, so that closes out the draft, and we are going to finish off with another segment of Tuesday. All right, so we are off to Tuesday. Now,
Quick,
bringing in the water boy
quick
jersey.
wardrobe
Well done.
change. Bobby Boucher's in the
So
house.
good. So, I have some breaking
Oh,
news. Would you like to hear it now or after we do our selections?
oh, well, give it to me now.
Breaking news. Quinn Hughes will be playing tonight against the Calgary Flames. This will be old news for those who are listening to this after the game, but for us recording live at 4:30 on March 12th, this is breaking news to us. Quinn Hughes will be playing
It
tonight.
feels like the Four Nations all over again. It feels like the organization is like, we need to win this game.
I think Quinn Hughes is like, we need to win this game. Quinn Hughes, I believe Quinn Hughes ultimately is the guy who gets on, like every time he gets on the ice, it's because of Quinn Hughes. It's not because of anyone else.
Yeah,
Every time Quinn Hughes is not on the ice, it's because of everyone else.
fair enough.
I think there was no chance that Quinn Hughes, this is the game of the year. And if they were going to play this game and lose it without Quinn Hughes, I don't think Quinn plays the rest of the season.
J-Dog's talking
So
about potential playoff implications, game of the year, not entertainment, because I don't think it will be that.
correct. Very much, thank you for making that note. It is very much playoff implications, which is the thing that Quinn Hughes cares most about.
Fair enough.
Tocchet was also asked if he was doing a game 7, was asked if he needs to give a game 7 speech tonight. This is according to Jeff Patterson on X. Tocchet, I'm running out of them, he says as he laughs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which I thought was just the perfect response.
Yeah.
So anyway, just wanted to insert that. Okay, so we're off to Tuesday. First up, we have the Flames and the Rangers. Who have you got,
Actually, we
Andy?
got to recap
Oh,
last
no.
week's.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So, game 1, we had Blue Jackets versus Devils. We both took the Blue Jackets, and we were wrong. This will be a recurring
Womp
theme.
womp.
Next game was Panthers Bruins. We all expected a big homecoming for Marchand and the Panthers to be
Yep.
jacked up. No, Bruins won.
Yeah.
Senators Flyers. We both took the Senators, and we actually got one right. Yay, us. But that was short-lived because we both took the Golden Knights over the Penguins and were wrong.
Which is ridiculous.
Agreed. Lightning Hurricane, I think, was always going to be a tough one to predict. J-Dog took the Hurricanes and was correct.
Let's go.
Rangers Jets, we both took the Jets and were correct.
Hey, let's go. Hey.
Avalanche
Yeah.
and Wild. J-Dog followed his affinity for the Wild there, and they got him the win. Capitals Ducks. J-Dog inexplicably took the Ducks on that one. I took the Capitals, and the Capitals won.
Yeah.
The Canadians and the Canucks. I think I did this wrong. I'm pretty sure I took the Canucks as well.
I'm pretty sure we both
I'm
took
pretty
the
sure.
Canucks.
Yeah. I'll have to double check that. I'm pretty sure that I also got this one wrong. We both took the Sharks over the Preds and were wrong. And I very slightly redeemed myself by taking the Kings over the Islanders.
Nice. Who did I choose there?
Oh, you had the Islanders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
what's the totals?
it was not great. J Dog had 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had
Yeesh.
1, 2, 3. Oh, also 4. Is that right? You know what? I'm going to double check these. I'm going to go back to the last video. I'm going to double check this, and I will post the real results right here.
The Jordan dub
So
on the top.
I will say 1, haha, got you, sucker. And I will also say, aw, man. And I will use whichever one applies.
All right. Can't wait to see myself win. Okay. And now for this week's Tuesday.
Yes.
We have Flames Rangers. Who have you got, Andy?
Rangers all the way. Flames can't score.
Yep, I am also going Rangers. JT Miller seems to be fitting in there. They seem to be getting goals. Not wins, but goals. So I'm going to go Rangers. Penguins, Islanders. That's a big rivalry game between non-playoff teams. Who have you got?
After you.
Okay, I'm going Sidney Crosby.
Yeah. I mean, the Penguins just burned us versus the Golden Knights, so let's get on board the Penguin train. Canadians, Senators. I am going to take the Canadians.
That's Senators all the way for me. They are rolling right now. Dylan Cousins has 2 goals already. They're playing very well.
Smart people. I wanted Dylan Cousins.
Capitals, Red Wings. Who you got?
I've got the Capitals all day.
I do as well. Blues, Predators.
You've got...
I've got Blues.
I also have Blues.
Okay.
Stars, Ducks. I have learned my lesson. I am taking the Stars.
I too have learned my lesson to not cheer for the Ducks, and I'm also going Stars.
See, we learn just slowly. Kraken, Blackhawks. Who do you like?
I'm going Blackhawks here. I like the upside that Bedard brings. So I don't have a lot positive for the Kraken. So I'm going Bedard.
Okay. I think Bedard's the only positive for the Blackhawks, so I'm going Kraken. Utah versus the Oilers. I have learned my lesson with the Oilers as well, so I'm going to take Utah for the upset.
I think Oilers just have a little too much star power, and as much as I like Utah, I don't think they quite have what it takes. So I'm going to go Oilers here.
And then you'll notice that Jordan's wearing his Jets jersey. I think that's appropriate because I believe in the last matchup, Jets-Canucks, I believe we are both taking the Jets. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As much as I want to cheer for the Canucks, I will be cheering for the Canucks. As much as I want to think that they're going to win, we got absolutely pantsed the last time we played the Jets, and we have not gotten any better.
I think it's 9 of the last 10 or 10 of 11 the Jets have had us. Like, it's not pretty.
Something like that. No.
So there you have it. Tuesday. Another one in the books.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Click like, click subscribe. Please leave comments in. We are also up on Spotify if that is easier. We have the video on Spotify as well. And we are posting polls on Spotify for voting for the drafts to see who you think did better in the draft. So yeah, I think that's everything for me. Do you have anything, Mr. Waterboy?
Nope, that's about it. Please tell your friends if you enjoy it. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Peace.